Hi, everyone. This time, let's talk about health. Uh, we all desire to be healthy, usually. We like to know that our friends, family, perhaps everyone around us are healthy. But the first thing then is what is this thing we call health? In the past, some people defined it as the absence of illness, which of course is a very negative, poor definition, because we all know also, we feel that health is an active and a positive state. It's connected to deep well-being, both in the body and the mind. It's emotional well-being, it's even spiritual well-being. The thing is, how do we cultivate health? Usually, it's definitely not by trying to just avoid disease, because then it would be based on fear and avoidance, and we all know, even by instinct, that it does not work that way. Now, it's easy to say also that health will be in the convergence of external factors and internal factors. Sometimes genetics versus the environment, sometimes our feelings versus the world, and so on. The important thing then is that health is mostly a positive state. We can say that I might be damaged by poisons from the environment, something in the air, something in the food, something in the ground, what touches my skin, and so on. I can be poisoned by environmental mind or information, by what is in the mind of other people, what is around, what is in the psychic atmosphere, and so on. We also might say that I might have a poor quality body to some extent, like my body would not be well built, or my mind will not be well built. But we have plenty of choice. Like sometimes we feel lousy smells, and almost again by instinct, we choose to breathe just a little bit amount of air to stay alive. And when we feel like there is a very pure, healthy, positively charged air around us, we like to breathe deeply, like at the beach, at the ocean side, or in a mountain. Sometimes we like to really open our lungs to pure air. It's an interesting analogy also because we might choose how to breathe. And there is an analogy to this because we can choose what to breathe in from different levels of the psychic atmosphere. In a way, we can breathe towards us energy from very high spheres of being instead of lower ones. We can choose what we eat to some extent, but then it's probably important to think about this in a sort of an esoteric way. Our energy state might actually magnetize to us particles from the air, from higher levels, from the atmosphere, also from the ground, also from what we eat, what we breathe, places that we go to. And depending on our inner state, what we magnetize towards us, what we keep as it comes to us, or what we just allow to fall, in a way, fall away, fall down from us, it depends in our inner state a lot, in our mind, what we are feeling, what we are cultivating. Lots of people will tell us about high vibration vs low vibration. Let's imagine that I am eating poor quality food, perhaps with some poisons to it. Perhaps the energy state of my organism will have a tendency to reject some particles that are not adequate, that do not fit in our organism, While when we are in a low vibration state, when we are feeling lousy, negative about ourselves, perhaps guilty, perhaps with low self-esteem, eventually, without noticing it, we might be keeping, even attracting to us, particles that are indeed negative. In the opposite way, of course, we can, with an intention added, we can, in a way, allow our system, our body mind system, to choose to attract, to keep what is positive to it. In the same way, in the mental atmosphere around us, we have all kinds of thoughts, ideas, memories, shapes that come to us. Some we like to keep with us in our memory, in our energy structure, in our thought. Others we just reject. But let's imagine that we keep in mind, namely what Alice Bailey told us, that disease is mostly about the blockage or deviation of the energy from our soul, and sometimes from the global soul, from the soul of the world. Then perhaps our inner deep soul, when it is really flowing and present, in a natural way, it will choose and keep and attract what really belongs in the evolution and the expansion of our consciousness and our soul. The whole thing being about staying open to our soul, expressing our soul, finding our soul, becoming our soul. Then there will be a tendency for things to flow. Of course, we all die. We all have disease. Eventually, you all get old in our bodies. But the way we get there is also important. And it depends a lot in who we are, what we feel, how we do things, what we cultivate inside of us. But it's also about finding an inner connection with our deep being, perhaps with the divine realm, and allowing it to be in our lives. Then perhaps attracting and keeping what we need and just allowing everything else to drop, to move away. And in practical terms, we might choose what kind of thought and memory we want to keep with us. Not just because we are rejecting stuff, but we are, in a natural way, allowing our inner being to attract and keep what is healthy to it. Now, this, of course, implies inner work. And inner work is fundamental to us as human beings. There is some research showing apparently that the most human thing is pure consciousness and will, meaning deliberate action, conscious choice, conscious movement, an intention to what we do. Eventually, this intention will come from deep inner layers. It will be, in a way, the intent of our soul across our lives. But being very conscious and very intentional is also extremely human. So let's keep in mind that health is about flow, but it's also about choice and being very deliberate and very conscious and very present as we have our lives. And being healthy is therefore connected to who we really are very deep within. And being really attuned to our deepest being, allows health to flow in a very natural way. This is the idea for today. As usual, if you like, you might say something, or share, or subscribe.